Clayton Hester here, usually from the Digital News Desk, but here I am at the Painted Brand Gallery in Cape Girardeau, talking today with Jeanie Eddleman. She is a graphite artist, and drawing is well, I mean, as in the name, graphite specialty here, and we're going to talk to her about the subjects and inspiration and items that she does here today. So, just looking around, obviously seeing some familiar places and spaces and things like that, is that kind of part of your staple as far as drawing go, as far as depicting local places? Is that, one of your main focus? Or,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
For sure.
Yeah, I grew up, of course, in Marble Hill, but my dad worked in Cape, and so I've been around Cape all my life. Of course, I went to school here.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these places are kind of dear to me, like the old Wimpy's and the J.C. Penney building that was downtown, Woolworths. Yeah. And so I just started in drawing things that were important to me, buildings that were important. And then it just kind of snowballed.
For sure. Yeah. Let's get through some of these different places here.
Sure.
And we'll get a look at these.
This is the old Wimpy's. It used to be on across from the Arena Park.
Yeah.
Up here.
Okay.
And then that was a famous hangout for all the youth growing up at the time.
Did you learn to draw because of your passion for the places, or was that something you had already learned? Or
no, it was already learned.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
I started at 3.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
absolutely.
My uncle had brought a fish in and laid it on the table and was going to draw the fish, and I told him I'd help him draw the fish, and he said, no, you can draw it yourself. So he gave me a piece of paper and I drew it while he was drawing.
Sure. Is this from a photo?
That was one of my uncle's publicity photos.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
And so I took that picture.
Yeah.
That photograph.
That's awesome. That's got so much character to it. I love it.
That one and this one here.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that's also.
Yeah.
He was drawing.
Sure.
And so I started drawing early at age, and I enjoy drawing. It comes easy.
For sure. Yeah.
So you always do things that come easy for you. Then I did some of Bullinger County of Marble Hill, and these are some of the places that were kids hung out at.
Mm-hmm. Sure, for sure. All right, that's wonderful. I imagine there's a real, historic preservation aspect of being able to draw these. What does that mean to you?
Often the buildings nowadays are pretty generic.
Sure.
And these old buildings, they have a certain charm or a glamour to them.
Yeah.
And so to me, I'm trying to preserve the history of the area and to bring back good memories of Broadway scene. And then you've got the Colonial here, that's where Limbaugh's office is at the end of Broadway. And these were just all places that, people hung out at.
For sure. For sure.
For people who have, like I've had one couple, they've bought prints of the different, like one of them was where they first met.
Yeah.
One was where they got engaged, where they had their first date. And so that, to make happy memories for people, and that's what makes me, that's worth more than anything else, is to give memories to people of times remembered. Then I took the drawings, because I had people that said that they would like to have all the drawings, but they couldn't afford to buy all of them.
Yeah.
So then I put them in a book, and so I have 2 books. These are the Shadows of Cape Girardeau Yesteryears, and it has the drawings in it with a brief history of each of the old buildings. And this one and the images of Bullinger County are both in the Library of Congress.
Oh, yeah.
I sent it in and it was selected to be put in there.
That's awesome.
So, but anyway, and then I did the different drawings of And then I do calendars. Used to, I would do a calendar every year, but you know, with the last few years, we've had so much health issues and stuff with the here, you know, with the COVID and everything. So,
Yeah.
but I did a calendar this year,
Oh, that's awesome.
and so
How are you able to print those then? Is that something?
I find a printer here in,
Okay.
in Cape.
Yeah.
So I have them printed and then I sell them.
Yeah.
That was the first one I did, I think.
Oh, really?
Not the first one I did of people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has that has it been something where you've been kind of in branching out as far as over time, you know, starting with places and then getting into people, animals, you know, things like that?
Yes. I started with the buildings, and I always wanted to do people, and I never could.
Sure.
And it was after my uncle had passed away, and I saw a drawing, well, it was a photograph of him that one of the photographers had taken, laying on his art bench, and I thought, that's really neat. I liked all the contrast to the blacks and the whites.
Yeah.
And so I asked my aunt if I could take that I wanted to try to draw it, and I'd bring it back, and she said, go ahead. So I did, and I could do it.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of strange, and it was like, okay, so I had to take about 5 of them and do before I really realized I could actually do drawings of people. But it was like an overnight thing
Yeah.
it's just kind of strange.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I actually branched out into other things because a lot of times people would tell me that they don't have room on their walls.
Sure.
And so that's where I got into the coasters and mugs and cutting boards.
I think that's something interesting that maybe folks may not think about as much as having room on your walls. What sort of reference points do you use to draw these? Are there photographs, or were you able to do that before some of these closed, or what is that?
I usually do it from photographs.
Sure.
Because I'm so slow at doing it. So, so I take photographs, or either I get old photographs, and then I also do commission work for people. So. I do buildings, just all kinds of buildings. I've done animals, I've done people.
Do you get more commissions than you do of other sorts of drawings?
Nowadays I do, yes.
Oh, sure.
I do more commissions than I get time to draw.
Yeah.
You know, the thing, I've taken some pictures of some buildings that I want to do, but I just haven't had time to do those.
Sure,
yeah.
Sure. So is this your you know, profession then, or how does that? Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I taught art for 27 years, and I retired from teaching, and so I started in my drawing to do my drawings and stuff when I got close to retirement. Yeah. And it just kind of mushroomed, and it was just an area that God was taking me into. Sure. And I did a lot of praying and soul searching over it to decide whether because my son was in college at the time, and so I thought, if I quit teaching now, you know, are we going to have the money to, you know, finish paying his college? And God was just telling me, this is what I need to do, and so I took a leap of faith, and so I retired and started in with my art business, and, you know, I haven't been sorry a bit, so it's worked out great.
That's awesome. That's awesome, yeah.